So I've only really got 10 minutes with you all today. So I'm going to be covering a range of different topics. So think of it more as being like a traffic stop visit as opposed to something that's more comprehensive. But it's very much with the purpose of giving you visibility on kind of what's front of mind for me and what's front of mind for MYOB, and then also kind of where we are focused in continuing to improve the platform. Where I always like to start is actually why do we do what we do? Like, what is our purpose? And at the highest level at MYOB, our kind of mission and vision is to help more Australian and New Zealand businesses start, survive, and succeed. And that's across all of MYOB. If I then think about enterprise or mid-sized businesses, where kind of we focus today is kind of what's our role there, and kind of why are we so excited about the opportunity, but equally the businesses and the impact that you all have. And we actually did some work earlier this year on this. And what really blew us away was and we kind of intuitively knew it, but we did some really good research with an economist to understand and kind of put some metrics around it. And essentially what we found was that the impact that mid-sized businesses have on the New Zealand economy and on the Australian economy is actually quite profound and often underestimated. So mid-sized businesses actually contribute kind of upwards of 20 to 30% of GDP, and they play this really crucial role in continuing to improve the economic conditions. And productivity is something that is front of mind for many at the moment. And mid-sized businesses have been able to demonstrate an ability to improve productivity on a systematic basis. And that's what excites us. That's the unique role that we feel our platform and MYOB can have in supporting businesses like yours. And the way that we see the role that we play is very much through providing you with a platform, being MYOB Acumatica, to help future-proof your business today, but also into the future through kind of three main areas. One is around continuing to provide you with intuitive technology that kind of works for you. Secondly, around ensuring that the platform gives you access to kind of world-class technology while having it localized for local requirements. And then also continuing to ensure that you have access to a single platform that can scale with you, be that going beyond finance and more kind of workflows and more capabilities, or be that as you kind of continue to grow and use it in a more intense manner. And that's kind of what we focus on. That's where we are kind of continuing, and you'll see us to continue to invest on an ongoing basis. As part of that investment in the community and that investment in mid-sized businesses, we're actually super excited. Earlier this year, we actually did our first kind of in-person Discover Live event, which for me is kind of almost taking the ethos of what you're currently experiencing at user groups and continuing to broaden that. And we're really excited to have done that in 2025, bringing together a whole lot of kind of like-minded leaders within mid-sized businesses so that they could see kind of what's coming, but then also so they have an opportunity, more importantly, to kind of come together as a community. And we're super excited that we're going to be doing it again in 2026. So kind of keep an eye out for locations and dates for Discover Live 2026. And for us, we see this as an opportunity for us as MYOB to invest alongside our partners to kind of continue to build this community of mid-sized businesses that are having this profound impact in improving the economic conditions, which we're super excited about. Now, the other thing I wanted to share today is where are we focused? And there's three main areas, and I know some of these are going to be covered in a bit more detail with the product roadmap update later, and there's also some other topics I know on the user group agenda, which is going into a few of these, but I wanted to kind of give you my perspective on those as well. There are three main things that you should be expecting coming through the platform. One is our next release, and as many of you know, if you've been on the platform for a while, or if you're relatively new on the platform, we have two major releases per year, an autumn release and a spring release. And we're obviously very excited about our upcoming spring release, which has a whole range of enhancements across the solution. The other kind of two bigger, longer term investments that we've been making and we are making is around the modern UI, in terms of continuing to keep that industry leading approach that we've had to date around usability. And I've had questions in the past around if you're winning awards and you're already setting the standard with respect to usability relative to other ERP platforms, why are we completely rebuilding it? And fundamentally, it's so that we can continue to have that position. So kind of the modern UI is one element. And then finally, kind of what we're doing and how we're thinking about AI. AI is something that we think will continue to have, is already having a very big impact, but also will start to have a greater impact within mid-sized businesses. And our view and our approach to it in regards to very much bringing practical AI into mid-sized businesses as opposed to simply kind of sprinkling it everywhere. As a reminder, obviously many of you in the room are already on the platform, but when I talk about the overarching MYOB Acumatica platform, I think about it in terms of these kind of broad sets of capabilities. And because I can see it in the underlying telemetry, the vast majority of you in the room are using finance, Another majority of you are using kind of people or payroll, and then a subset of you are starting to use the other modules. One of the things that I would kind of recommend is continue to stay engaged and observing kind of what else is available on the platform, because we continue to see opportunities for more and more mid-sized businesses to take on more workflows across the platform as they continue to mature or as they continue to kind of broaden their adoption. And I think that's the role where our partners in particular can help you interpret and understand what's possible in the platform, and then match that up with kind of your business requirements, your business needs with respect to what's the next challenge or what's the next opportunity that you're trying to pursue. So obviously it's really like there's finance, people, sales and customer, if you have a field service component of your business, projects, supply chain and production. So they're kind of the broad areas when I talk about the platform and the areas that we're continuing to make an investment. So with that context, let's talk about the 2025 spring release. And what I want to just give you a bit of a heads up is like, what are we trying to do within each of those capabilities as we continue to do enhancements? With respect to finance, what we're super excited about is shortening the quote to cash process and essentially improving the speed at which you get cash in the business, be that through kind of greater automation. And in particular, there's some new capabilities coming in regards to how we're managing payments receipts, which is pretty exciting. On the people side, what we're seeing, and I don't know if there's many payroll admins in the room or other people who are close to payroll, you would have noticed recently in the press, the compliance around accurate pay is just increasing and the obligations on businesses is increasing, and hence rostering intelligently in terms of managing your labor, but then also staying compliant and making sure you have all of the documentation in the event that something does go wrong is really front of mind for many, and hence kind of some of our new workforce management capabilities, making that easier through improved UI, but then also just making it available on the platform. On the sales and customer side, super excited about what we're delivering with respect to customer comms, SLA visibility. It's now easier for you to start calculating and being more precise with respect to how you're delivering on SLAs for customers. And then finally, and we've had a few requests for this, so excited to be able to be offering this in an upcoming release, is full traceability with respect to right parts of the right job. A good example here would be, let's say you're a HVAC operator, you want to make sure that you have the serial code associated with the gas that's gone into the HVAC repair. You now have the ability to track that in the field in a much more effective way. Across the next three areas, on the project side, if we have some construction businesses in the room or other businesses that are using our project capability, I think we're operating in a world where our supply chains are getting more complex and maintaining margins on projects is getting very difficult. And therefore, we've been introducing new capabilities to be able to forecast, reforecast, recalculate based upon what's actually occurring in the project, such that you can have just significantly improved visibility with respect to project margin. And then on the supply chain side, we heard a lot of feedback from customers in regards to how they improve their precision of tracking. And what we're now doing is having the ability to add attributes at the point in time where inventory is coming into your warehouse. So it allows you to codify at the point of entry, kind of what are the actual items that are coming through from an attribute level, as opposed to it being done separately, which is essentially just error prone. And then finally, and for those of you who aren't using production, it may not seem like a very big thing, but for those of you who are using it, we're actually really excited about the improvements we've made from a usability perspective to the production scheduling. Production scheduling is an incredibly powerful capability. And what we have done recently is improve the way that it looks, like through color coding and other visibility elements, such that it's just way easier for you to immediately see at a glance where we're seeing bottlenecks. So at a very high level, they're kind of the enhancements that we are seeing across the various capabilities. As I said at the start, there's 250 plus features that are in the release. I think it's important. We're going to have another event, kind of Discover Online. We'll go through them again. My suggestion to you is, yes, kind of consume some of that content, but equally have the conversation with your partner with respect to what is coming that's relevant for kind of your business and where you're up to in your adoption journey of the Acumatica platform. So let's talk modern UI. The modern UI, and for those of you who have been around technology for years or are relatively new to it, doesn't matter how good the technology is, if it's not easy for people to use, they will not use it. And hence, for us, continuing to make sure that the UI is responsive, is snappier, is something that we saw a real opportunity to improve. And hence, we've invested a lot of time alongside Acumatica over the last few years in terms of getting to a position now where we can essentially modernize some of the technology that is driving that front-end experience. To give you a kind of a demonstration of it, this is essentially what the UI looks like today. For those of you in a solution all the time, this is what you see. And pay attention, it's going to be relatively subtle. This is what the new UI will look like. Now, to kind of preempt some of the questions of, oh, it looks pretty similar. What I would say is the approach we've taken is a couple of things. One, it's a significant technology uplift. So it's very much an enabler in regards to what user interactions we'll be able to continue to improve on the platform over time. The other thing I'd say is, and although it is subtle, what you'll see even visually here is we've essentially separated the area that talks about the order as discrete from the area that talks about the customer. And hence it's easier to see at a glance kind of what's actually happening on the order versus the customer. The other thing I'd say is that we have intentionally designed the modern UI to reduce the amount of friction as we bring it to customers. Hence, we're not planning to release it in a way that has this huge evolution. We want to bring it in from a technology standpoint. We want to get you kind of comfortable with it. And then over time, bit by bit, we will continue to enhance the user experience so that it's not abrupt in regards to how it kind of comes into your business. So this is absolutely the first slice of it. It's a big technology uplift. But then over time, what you'll see is just continued improvements to how you're able to interact with it. And a really good example of this is with the new UI, you'll have the ability for us to kind of provide you with more drag drop features and more user-defined field customization, more personalization. These are all things that this big investment that we've made in the underlying platform will kind of improve in the way that you're able to use it over time. Now, it wouldn't be a tech session unless we talked AI. So let me continue to play to all of what is happening. And I am equally, it might sound a little bit like tongue-in-cheek, but I am also incredibly excited about what is coming with respect to AI, or also kind of what is available today. And I'm really excited to share with you today kind of what we're seeing. The key thing that I want you to take away from this presentation, and hopefully it will come through as we speak through it, our approach to this is very much about bringing practical AI into your business. From the conversations that we have had with businesses like yours, you want to make sure, from what we have heard, is you want us to ensure that the platform gives you access to the capabilities that you need over time, but equally isn't distracting from you running your business. And therefore, what we're our kind of guiding ethos is practical AI that drives business impact for you and your business and your team members. It goes without saying, and this was actually a study that we did in 24, which I suspect has just increased, is what we see AI being able to do, and in particular large language models, will be transformational over time for mid-sized businesses. So what we found through this study was that actually, and I'd be curious to get a show of hands in the room, but I can't actually see you, so I won't do it, is how important is AI to you, and kind of how does it sit relative to your stack rank of other priorities? What we saw in 24 and what we think is continuing to accelerate is that people are, and mid-market businesses in particular, are looking at how they bring AI tools into their business in a systematic way. We understand it's a high priority for you all, and hence it is also a very high priority for us in regards to how we bring it into the platform. And the way that we are thinking about it is in the same way other technologies have come into ERP over time, we see AI playing a critical role. So if we kind of go all back many years now, like ERP at the early stages very much played a role around kind of digitization, taking manual processes, paper-based processes, and digitizing them. And that's kind of what I've called the legacy ERP. The next evolution was very much around automation and moving to the cloud and having broader set of workflows across your operational workflows. And that's where cloud ERPs and automation has played a really, really big role in making it more broadly available to kind of all of your team members. What we see with AI is, and this is what we're kind of referring to as, and this is us and Acumatica, is like AI first ERP. And what we see that doing over time, and this is over the next kind of years, is it will not only do digitization, it won't only do automation, but it will also support decision-making. And it will support decision-making in a way that goes beyond kind of dashboarding and reporting, but it will actually help you answer complex business questions. And that's where we see the next evolution of ERP. If we then go to what does that look like tangibly, there are three main experiences that we will see kind of be coming onto the platform. One is around AI Assistant, which is there to help you complete the tasks that you come to the ERP to do. The second critical experience is AI automation. So what this will do is it will help you automate and streamline processes within your business, and it will be able to do that in a way that low code, no code, like it's the next evolution of that. And then the final bit is around AI Advisor, which takes you down this pathway of decision making. And this essentially, the experience here will essentially help you make better decisions, help you decide whether you need to order that piece of inventory, help you decide whether your general ledger is sufficiently accurate and doesn't have anomalies, and therefore you can issue your accurate accounts. It's those types of experiences that AI Advisor is trying to achieve. And each of these three experiences are where we will continue to enhance the product over time, kind of thin slice by thin slice over time. But these are the three main experiences that you should be expecting to see from a platform that we're investing in and we're super excited about. The final thing I want to touch on is just other options for you to just be aware of. Obviously, we have a huge marketplace and we've kind of added 30 new apps to the marketplace. So if there's areas that kind of we don't cover, we're continuing to kind of support that broader ecosystem. And the one for me, which I'm super excited about, is introduction of Carbon View. That for those of you who have carbon reporting requirements, they've now essentially built an integration that makes that much more seamless. And then equally a new capability that we've offered recently and made available and is relevant for the right customer is actually resourcing tiers, which now allows you to have more flexibility with respect to what infrastructure you need to be able to support the way that you use your platform. So instead of just getting the same level of resourcing that others get, you now have the option to upgrade to a larger level of resourcing where your partner will be able to help you understand whether that's right for you based upon how you're using the solution. That's kind of all I had to cover in my 10-minute traffic stop across all things MYOB and all things MYOB Acumatica. I really appreciate being able to come in, even if it was virtually. I always really enjoy these sessions and love to have the opportunity to kind of share with you all what we're working on and how we're looking to kind of continue to future-proof your business with what we're doing with MYOB Acumatica.